the saying which says, behind every good man is a good woman, not just a woman. And when it comes to Malcolm Earl Gishard, he had a good woman. She's actually here, decked out in her Federation colors and all, as we look at the intergenerational 40 years of independence journey. Mrs. Yvonne Gishard is with me. Good morning to you, Mrs. Gishard.
Good morning, Curtis.
Now, talk to us about that good man, the love of your life. He was indeed the love of your life, and I see you still blushing and all.
Yes, he was. Malcolm was the type of person that he loved people. He just loved people. And because of his love for the people, for his country, that's why I think he went beyond to make Nevis something. Let's take tourism for instance. When he took over tourism in 1992, that's when he became a minister of tourism. He revamped all the tourism that was there, and that's how it becomes the tourism authority
that we have now.
That we have now. And in that, well, yes, the Four Seasons were there, Nisbet Plantation were there, Golden Rock were there, other good hotels were there. But let's take the Four Seasons for instance. Yes, it was very nice for Dr. Daniel to bring Four Seasons and to really bring something nice to Nevis, but it was only carrying 198 rooms. So therefore, when Malcolm took over, they wanted to build villas. So of course, he spearheaded that and allowed them to build villas, which brought about more rooms. But the catch in that was, Nevisians were the contractors. And that was the key. You couldn't bring in nobody else to build. So all like Santa Lescott and all of that. And because of that, the economy will boom, because being Nevisians building these villas, the money stays within the islands.
So Malcolm was making sure that the locals progressed and they got a piece of the action.
Of course. Then tourism began to boom, and the taximen, for instance, you could testify to this because I know you were once a taximan.
Not once, you know.
You still.
Still am.
Right. And what he did, he spearheaded the concession. He tried to fight for you all to get the concession, because of one of the reasons were so that you all could have nice vehicles to take the tourists around. And then he started fighting with the different sites like Eden Brown, New River, Heritage Village, all these things. Because the truth and the fact, he wanted to find places, not just in town, but to take the tourists out of town, and so that they could see some of the history of Nevis. Then he started out with the airport, started fighting now with the airport. Because remember, despite the fact that we had tourists coming in, Four Seasons had their batch and everything, we didn't have proper airlift, because then we had Caribbean Aviation coming from Antigua, Liat coming from Antigua, William coming from St. Martin. But then that wasn't no help, because the money was like let's take for instance, American Eagle at that time was landing in St. Kitts. So that's where the tourists, exactly. So then he fought, he tried and borrowed money and everything to get the airport on top. And after the airport came through, then he fought to get American Eagle. So remember at one time we had American Eagle, we had going to Puerto Rico and bringing the guests them straight to Nevis. We also had Liat, we had Winnie. Tourism was buzzing, and the taximen was smiling. Okay? Then, Malcolm was the type that he did one and everything. Because take for instance, sports. They built the Elliot was the one that built the pavilion in the park. But it was his ministry that paid to put the thing. Then he did all these, he was the one that started the affordable houses. Started first at Hard Times, then he went at Bath, then he went Eden Brown, then he went Brooklyn, Newcastle, I mean all these different places to allow Nevis people to get a piece of their land, you know. Along with that, he did the acquisition of the Pinnes land, which he acquired 300 acres for government. That is why you find that we were able to get the park down there, because he fought tooth and nails in order. He said, Nevis people must have a beachfront. So therefore, in anything, we gonna get a beachfront. And thanks be to God, we did.
Now, during all that time, because we could see how he helped in the development of Nevis, and he would have worked really hard. Did his wife at any time say, Malcolm, slow down, Malcolm, you're doing too much, Malcolm, come just rest and relax?
Yes, I did. Sometimes I will tell him, well, let's take a trip to Miami. But by when we get to Miami, 3 days after, oh, Ivana got work to do in Nevis. You know, sometimes I say, boy, you work on the field. You know, you got to spend some time to relax. But such as the man, he just had people in front of him. You know, he just loved people, he just wanted Nevis people to enjoy life and whatnot. Going back to the airport, remember he had to move all those people in order to do the extension of the runway. So then he gave them lovely houses at the end of Colony Place, Beverly Hills. Because they built houses of their choice, even little houses that was board, he made them into concrete. So just because he wanted the people to be happy, because remember now, you're moving people from their own environment, so therefore you have to make them happy. Then he brought in Tempo. I don't know if you all remember.
Yes.
Tempo did the first launch at Nevis over at Newcastle. And it was very good. And I think he thought, well, bringing Tempo would have done a lot to the island. Yes, it did. He was looking for Tempo to probably carry on, but I don't know what's the problem. But at least what Tempo did is, who didn't know Nevis knew Nevis because of the launching of Tempo.
Okay, look into the camera now. It's Independence 40 coming up. I wanted to wish the wonderful people of Nevis, on behalf of Malcolm Gishad, I almost said Sir Malcolm Gishad, on behalf of Malcolm Earl Gishad and the entire family, here's your chance to wish the entire Nevis population, Sinkis Nevis on a whole, happy independence.
Well, happy independence to the people of Nevis and St. Kitts. God's blessings. Hope we could have the next 40 and 40 and 40. And hope that one day, not only me, but maybe the younger generation will come forward and try to emulate Malcolm and try to make Nevis a better place.
No, you won't believe this. This lady said she was camera shy. But suppose she wasn't camera shy. Over and out.
With Independent 40 and what it means to the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis. We're here in Brown Hill by the legendary Sandy, known for his Sandy chicken. Alright, Sandy, tell the young folks and the elder folks what this independent means to you, and how was it before independent and after independent?
Independent, before independent, alright. The first independent, my wife did pregnant with that Chevron, and the first independent, we were expecting to get an independent baby.
Oh, lovely, absolutely.
And we didn't get the independent baby because she didn't born till
after September 19th?
But in October the 7th. So that was a long. And then after that, 2 years after, then I get the next pregnancy. I went for pregnant with Samira, and Samira born an independent day.
Oh, lovely.
2 years.
So you would have missed it the first and catch it on the second. Good job, good job.
Independent, you know, is alright, you know, you were joyful and everything and so on. Independent, well, you have a little witness and it goes from there to now, you know, and everybody enjoy the chicken, they say. But it wasn't me at the first. It was my wife who do the, you know, the seasoning and everything, and I used to do the cooking. So try to do the cooking, and everybody says Sunday's chicken. That's right. But the statement was Cheryl. But you know, we continue from there, and the grands them help, and the son and daughters and everything. You know, and that was it.
So as they said, behind every successful man is a great woman.
Yes.
That would be your wife.
She was wonderful.
Lovely, lovely. Well, as one of the elder heads, you would have seen how the country was before independent. And now we're here 40 years after. What's your thought? Have you seen, are we going in the right direction? Is any progress to you? What's your opinion on what have you seen and where we are today?
Well, we have come a long way. You know, we have come a long way. Be independent and everything. It was, yes, you know, it was, but, you know, what I must say, with me, independent is just fun and everybody happy.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Sandy, for giving your take. We do appreciate that. Is there anything you have to say to the country? Give your thanks or any wishes or greetings?
Yes, we thank to the government and everybody who make it possible that we reach this far, you know, and we hope we can be more successful in independent. Go ahead.
Well, thank you. And there you have it, the legendary Sandy. Continuing with our independent party, and we're here with one of my youngster and good old friend, Julian Nisbet.
That's right,
And
that's
Julian,
right.
we just want to get, as a young person's perspective, what does independent means to you? We're celebrating 40 years of independence, and we'd like to know, what does that means to a young man like yourself?
Well, yes, independence is very good, you know. St. Nevis independence, the country striving for the best, you know, put the kids in good opportunity and stuff like that. But independence, I always say I'm an independence baby. I was born on September the 19th, but 1982, so I started independence. That's an inside joke, okay? But independence is a very good thing, and we're celebrating our 40th anniversary, so it's gonna be good. And if this is on the internet, everybody should come down because we have a good fest, right? So come on over and enjoy our independence.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
We continue our interviews in terms of our intergenerational Independence 40 interviews, and I'm with Moy Maloney, a Bathman, a true Bathman, and actually we are here at the historic Bath Tamarind Tree, the tamarind tree right in the center of Bath Village, where all the activities take place.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me in this interview here.
So all that you know about independence is basically what was taught to you during school, and in terms of your experience now that you're at 40, because once it's independence 40, it means that you're a young 40. So talk to us about your understanding of what independence really means for St. Kitts and Nevis, based on what you've been taught in school and from your experience.
Let's start by what I was told. So, growing up, you've heard of St. Kitts and Nevis being in an independent country. You know, it's something to be proud of, where we pretty much paddle our own canoe from the Queen. You know, that's one of the statements that the older folks would have said. I've also known that it was a struggle back then, talking about the two countries as St. Kitts and Nevis and Anguilla going through independence, where Anguilla decided to stay under the Queens and St. Kitts and Nevis got independent. And as a young fellow growing up, you would have heard that it was also a struggle between the two countries, well, the Federation, St. Kitts and Nevis, going forward. I've also told that it was a deep struggle where politically and the growth of both of the both countries. Things I've heard, some positive, some negative. You've always heard that there was always a stigma, so to speak, about St. Kitts and Nevis, whereas the Kittitians would always feel like that they were a little bit better than the Nevisians, and I guess vice versa, where proud Nevisians also feel like even though you're a smaller country, you are somewhat better at what we do, cricket being one of those, right? So, stuff I've heard, like you might ask, well, what are these so-called negative stuff I've heard, like the government not working with each other, the growth from where it was to where it is now was very slow progress because of the, like I said, politics before. Negative statements I've heard, like they said like the bone in the rice and the pepper in the soup, and I mean that was the past, and those are some of the negative things I've heard in the growth of independent and where we are here. Of what we have come, where we have actually just seen a unity with government. I guess I was told, I've learned not too long ago, that there was actually another unity before that. Not one that I can speak much about, because as a child, not too much engaged in politics. I'm an older person that actually went through that whole unity, that I've seen that there's some growth with togetherness.
I have a brother, for instance, who lives in St. Kitts. He has lived in St. Kitts since age 19. He has built homes there. He has houses there. He hardly comes to Nevis. I could almost count the number of times he comes to Nevis in the last, well, he would have come to Nevis in the last 5 years. Mostly when polymangos are around. So if something goes wrong between St. Kitts and Nevis, I'm looking out for my brother. Do you have relatives in St. Kitts, and how do you feel about the blood relationship between folks in St. Kitts and folks in Nevis?
I certainly do have family that reside and live there in St. Kitts. Relationship quite close. I mean, it's family's blood. It pertains to the independence and where we're going. If we're still on that topic, as two countries, going forward, trying to be better, make better of itself. Back days, I remember that they will also talk about secession. That's what it's called, secession. Yeah, I didn't know what secession meant at that time. It speaks about the growth. Secession back then didn't mean anything to me. I was young, as two countries just coming from independence natively, and now we're talking secession. What year was that, a matter of fact?
In terms of secession, well, actually they had a referendum, I think, in 1988. Yeah.
Still young at that time, and so it's frightening to think about it if we did have secession. Yeah, because you're talking about your family being over and now becoming a different country, right? So I guess they would have to have passports and the free movement that I grew up knowing between countries, jumping on a boat and just heading over to St. Kitts and vice versa. Wow.
Well, actually, J.W. Parry, in a previous interview, looked at the referendum being held one day. People asking to be separate from St. Kitts, and the very next day they were at the pier catching the boat to go to St. Kitts. I mean, it's almost ludicrous, right?
Yes.
But if you were to talk about going forward, would you love to see the bridge, the much talked about bridge being built between St. Kitts and Nevis?
Of course, yes. Growing up, I've always heard about this bridge. Of course, I would love to see the bridge, bridging the gap, so to speak, between both islands. That would be something great. I'm sure it's a financial issues as well.
It's gonna cost some money.
I can imagine. But in pertaining to the people, I think it will bring the people a lot more closer.
Okay.
You know, you can find jobs now. People for example, a taxi driver can do a tour in St. Kitts.
Okay.
You know, and they sell a tour in St. Kitts, and they say, you know what? How about make it a double tour? I give you a tour of St. Kitts, I come right across the bridge, give you a tour of Nevis.
Okay.
You see, so you know, we can see some revenue going on both sides. Families can now leave at home from Nevis and go over to St. Kitts and work, and drive your way back over. I mean,
Okay.
I think it's something great. Something great.
And so finally, as we look forward to another 40 years maybe, would you love to see St. Kitts and Nevis staying together as an independent country? Or would you love to see one of these days, maybe on your 50th birthday, Nevis separated from St. Kitts?
That's a bit of a tough one because I'm a proud Nevisian, and of course, one day I would love to see Nevis stand on its own two legs, so to speak. You know, controlling the own finance going forward. I've known Nevis have gotten some tough time from this federation, and I guess Mr. Morton, I would say yes. I would love to see Nevis going forward, handling their own affairs.
One of these days.
Yes, one of these days. Presently, I think that how things are going is it's done. It's acceptable for now, But as a young person who has always thought about progress and going forward, I would love to see the same for my country going forward. It's been a lovely 40 years. There have been some ups and downs, just like any relationship, and we have worked things out. That's why we're here after 40 years of independence, and it's a date that I will never forget, obviously, because of
Exactly.
So there you have it.
Well, I would want to wish you happy birthday in advance. And so as we look forward to the birthday of our nation, I want you to look into the camera as you have your final words, maybe saying happy independence or greetings, whatever you want to say at this point.
Well, I just love to wish everyone happy independent. From where we have coming from and where we're going, we just want to see everybody just enjoy this 40 years of independence and have a good one.
Salute.
So we are here today at the lovely Kay's gift shop. I'm here just to ask a simple question about Independence 40. Kay, good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm well, thanks.
Okay, we just want to know what is independence and what does it mean to you?
For me, independence means gaining freedom from colonialism. It's being more free, being more on your own, not dependent on anyone.
Alright, and there you have it from Kay. It's simple, so people, if you want a shirt for independence, come on out to Kay's gift shop, located right at the pier at the back of Passbar. You must find it. Have some lovely St. Kitts and Nevis shirt here. Come and get one. I'll get mine today.
Thank you very much.
By the look of things. Honorable Eric Evelyn is the Deputy Premier of Nevis and Area Representative for Gingerland. Now, Honorable Minister, you would have had the distinct privilege of being not only in the Nevis Island Administration's cabinet room, but also in the federal cabinet room. From that perspective, how do you see independence and where Nevis sits in terms of benefits?
Well, of course, I think independence is very important to all of us in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. It shows our sovereignty. Of course, we know that we would have been ruled by Britain for some time. And when our flag was raised on that 1st September 19th morning, I think it was a proud moment for all of us. And it should, of course, signify some national pride. I believe that all of us in St. Kitts and Nevis have that national pride, and those of you who don't have it, I'm encouraging you to please make sure that you get it. Now, of course, as you would have rightly mentioned, Mr. Morton, yes, I sit in the Nevis Island Administration. I also sit at the federal level for a short time as well. And of course, when you are in a position in government, when you're in the cabinet, whether you're in the Nevis Island Administration or you're in the federal cabinet, you get an opportunity to be able to fashion policies for not only for Nevis, but for the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. And of course, we do that with the country in mind, and we do that with the people in mind. And I think that the short time that I have spent in both the National Assembly as well as the Nevis Island Assembly, the Nevis Island government as well as the federal government, I think we have tried, and I think we have succeeded in ensuring that we do things to ensure that St. Kitts and Nevis continues to grow as a nation. I think that we have grown well. We have accomplished quite a lot in the past 40 years. And what we have accomplished as a nation and as a people, I think in some part is responsible because of the fact that the policies, the laws have been fashioned by, of course, the government. Of course, we know the government is not only us who are elected, but the government is everybody. And we are there to represent and to ensure that the people are comfortable and to ensure that the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis moves on. I have seen quite a lot of developments in both St. Kitts and Nevis during the short time that I have been in government, and of course during the past 40 years. And I must say kudos to the Nevis Island Administration and for the federal government for ensuring that we would have made these development strides, some really good strides in numerous areas, in agriculture, in education, in infrastructure, in health, in practically every aspect of development. We have made very good strides, and I think we as a people and as a nation, we ought to be very, very proud. Of course, I sit in the Nevis Island Administration for now, and we in Nevis, we will continue to ensure that Nevis is an equal, I would say, equal partner in the Federation as St. Kitts. And so we will continue as the Nevis Island Administration to continue to lobby, continue to ensure that the people of Nevis are equal to the people of St. Kitts. We are all one. We are one federation, and that is what should always be reflected in whatever we do, whether we are making policies, whether we are just ordinary citizens. We should ensure that we are one at all times.
So, Minister Evelyn, if you were to look at it from a human standpoint, human beings who step out from their parents' home, for instance, and they decide, well, I'm a man, I'm not a woman, I'm going to go out on my own. And then maybe something goes wrong and they're back in their parents' house or home, right? There was St. Kitts, Nevis, and Anguilla sitting in Adro seat. You remember those days in school?
Definitely.
And then Anguilla, first they were free, then there's two. You think that Nevis definitely then 40 years down the road would be better off now than 1983, 19th of September?
That's a difficult question. But of course there are pros and there are cons, because sometimes people will make the comparison that Anguilla went on its own and it is doing well. There can be arguments for and against. We don't know where Nevis would have been standing now if we launched out on our own like Anguilla. I believe that divisions and residents, we are very resilient people. So if we had taken that bold step, I believe that we would have been just as well off, or maybe even better off than Anguilla. But at the same time, we must also try to recognize that St. Kitts and Nevis have a special bond. We are intertwined in so many ways. I mean, blood. Practically everybody in Nevis have relatives in St. Kitts, almost everybody in St. Kitts have relatives in Nevis, and there is that special bond, irrespective of the chatter we always hear at the political circles. When it comes to the people, when it comes to petitions and divisions, we are one. And so whether or not we would have decided to take that bold step, as I said, I don't know whether or not we would have been better off than where we are now. What I can say though, is that we as a nation and Nevis as an island has done exceptionally well in the recent past. And you can see it everywhere you turn on the island. We have seen it in our development, in our infrastructure. We have seen it in every aspect of life on the island of Nevis. Nevis has made some significant strides. And as I said, whether we were on our own or whether we are with the Federation, the people of Nevis are resilient, we are forward thinking, and irrespective, we would still be well off.
Finally, Minister, as you look into the camera, just a few days away now, before that significant day, 40th anniversary and all, youngsters are watching. Your message to the young people of St. Kitts and Nevis, specifically though to the young people of Nevis on this our 40th anniversary of independence?
Well, I would say there's a lot of things I would like to say to our young people on this our 40th anniversary of independence, but I can't say all now. One of the things I want to tell our young people is that you need to have more national pride. My heart normally sinks when the national anthem is being played and young people are sitting down. They're not standing at attention. Young people, when we have the national anthem being played, it is important, it is incumbent on you that you rise, you show some respect. Young persons, you need to learn the national anthem. So if the national anthem is being sung and everybody's asked to sing it, you should be able to join in. I don't think that our people in St. Kitts and Nevis take independence as seriously as we ought to. And so I'm asking you all to please develop that national pride. Take pride in your island, take pride in your country. St. Kitts and Nevis is one. And on this, our 40th anniversary of independence, you must reflect and please ensure that you develop that national pride if you do not have it in you as yet. I would also like to encourage our young people to try to be as determined and as focused as possible. Of course, I believe that our young people are a little bit too laid back at times, and we need to get out of that attitude. We need to be able to, we need to work. We need to work hard. We need to continue to be resilient. We need to be determined, and we need, of course, to keep a steady focus at all times. Keep your head on. There are so many opportunities out there for you, but unfortunately, a lot of our young people are squandering those opportunities. So you must seize the opportunity. Whenever those opportunities are there, please grab them. Of course, there are a lot of challenges out there for our young people, and so you must be able to make proper decisions. You must consult with the older folks, whether it's your parents, whether it's older members of your family, but you must be able to make decisions that will affect the rest of your life. And so young people, as I said, you have a bright future ahead of you, but you must grab it. You are the ones who must take control of your lives. You are the ones who will be our future leaders. And so St. Kitts and Nevis in particular, depend on the choices that you make. So I'm asking you on this 40th anniversary of independence, make good choices. And let me also take this opportunity to wish all on this 40th anniversary of independence. It's a huge milestone. We should all be very proud. And let me take this opportunity to wish all a very happy 40th independence. And may God continue to bless us all. And may God continue to bless the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Thank you so much, Minister.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Happy Independence all.
Independence to St. Kitts and Nevis. I want to wish everybody around St. Kitts and Nevis the 40th anniversary. Come out and see all that we have in store for our big 40th anniversary of independence. Have a great independence, everyone.